going to happen. You can get game 6. You could steal it.
I wouldn't wish this on anyone.
Winning game 6 and 7.
I wouldn't wish this on anyone.
I don't think they're going to win the whole series, but
I wouldn't wish this on anyone.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 229 of Dear Diaries, a Milwaukee Bucks podcast brought to you by us here, the staff at Brew Hoop. I am one of your normal co-hosts, Jackson Gross, joined alongside for, I want to say, the fourth time this year already, although technically it's the first time this year because it's 2026 now.
Yeah.
My man from the landowner, Jack Traherne. Jack, how are you doing?
Hey, Jackson. Yeah, I'm doing okay. I've been a little bit under the weather, but excited to talk hoops with you again. Bucks are winning games again, so that's always good. But what about you, my friend? How are you going?
I'm doing all right. Bit of a mixed bag personal life wise. My long distance girlfriend, she was out here from December 22nd to January 3rd, which is the longest time singles span we've spent together. That was awesome, but now she's back home and I'm a little sad. But other than that, things are good. Things are always better, a little bit better when the Bucks are winning games. Before we even get into it, how are your holidays?
Yeah, good, man. I mean, just kind of catching up with friends and family and whatnot. My parents went over to Queensland to see to see my brother, who he's up in the army up there. So
okay.
So they headed up there, spent some time in Brisbane, and I was kind of just chilling just on my own with family during that time as well. So that was interesting. Got to see my auntie down in the city. So yeah, no complaints. What about you?
Really good. We did a lot of fun stuff. We did our normal Christmas traditions around the house. That's like a big breakfast buffet with donuts and bagels and cream cheese and tomatoes and all that jazz. But outside of that, we went to the Museum of Science and Industry. They had a Spider-Man exhibit there, which was really cool, especially me as a big Spider-Man guy. Then in that same day, they have these Chris Kindle markets in Chicago. We went to the one by Wrigley Field where the Cubs play, which was really cool.
And what does that mean, Chris Kindle? Is that just like... I
think it's supposed to be like a German thing, like the name itself.
Yeah.
But outside of that, I don't know. This is the first I've even heard of it. So
right.
That was really fun. I got to take my girlfriend to her first ever NBA game when the Bucks played the Wizards on New Year's Eve.
Oh, yeah.
That was fun.
Was that the game that we had Finn covering?
No, I still covered it.
Right. Yeah,
Finn covered the second Charlotte game to start the 2026.
Yeah, because I remember Finn covered one game, so I was like, oh, that would make sense that if he was covering that game, yeah. No problem.
But it was nice. We got to spend the night in Milwaukee for New Year's, which was fun. And yeah, just lots of hanging out and doing stuff with the family. So
cool.
That's enough. That's enough pontificating for now. Let's get into the meat and potatoes and why all of you are listening to here in the first place. And that's to recap the last week in Milwaukee Bucks basketball. After their last game before this podcast, they beat the Chicago Bulls. But then they finally won a second game in a row. Wow, crazy scenes. I think the first time since October they had won back-to-back games. Crazy stuff. They pretty comfortable win against the Hornets, if memory serves. Maybe they pulled a little bit away in the end, but just a good win to start off the week. They were looking to win for the first time all season, win their third game in a row. That did not happen. CJ McCollum, potentially future Atlanta Hawk, he gets 2 baskets in the last 33 seconds to send the Bucks fans home unhappy on New Year's Eve, 114 to 113. But then 2026 starts off with another close game against another bottom feeder in the Charlotte Hornets for the second time this week. This is the second time this season they played the Hornets twice in 1 week. Crazy thing to think about. Thanks to Giannis alley-oop from Kevin Porter Jr., they were able to get the win, 122 to 121. And then our own emeritus, Mitchell Marner, got to see the Bucks take care of business against the Sacramento Kings. Kings did make it a game a little bit, I believe, in the third quarter, but the Bucks were able to pull away at the end, winning 115 to 98, finishing the week at a respectable 3-1. Jack, what did you learn from a fairly full week of Bucks basketball?
Yeah, so what I learned is I wanted to talk about Giannis. I know you guys talked about the first game the first game he played, the end game of last week. But yeah, I mean, I echo the sentiments, like just, having him back makes obviously a huge difference, which is obvious. But yeah, just it was funny, like when he came back, like in the Chicago game, I thought the minutes that the reduced minutes that he did play, I felt like he was like more energized, and like it almost like the short stints were like almost like I found his defense in the Chicago game and then the first Charlotte game especially to be like a lot better than I remembered it being earlier in the season. So yeah, that was good. But I wanted to talk about the games this week, and my thing that I learned is Giannis's puzzle solving is often elite, but still can be sometimes incomplete. And I think we saw that example in 3 of the 4 games. I mean, you look at the numbers. Hornets game, 24 points, 8 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 turnovers, 11 of 16 field goals. Like, you take that. The second Hornets game, which was when Musa Diabate was out for that one, and they had 0 functioning centers, and they were starting PJ Hall, who they just signed to a 2-way contract.
Jesus.
And so yeah, the stat line looks as you would think it would look: 30 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, 11 out of 18 field goals. And then the Kings, I mean, they just like, what are you going to like? They guarded him with like Precious Achiuwa and Russell Westbrook. Honestly, they should have started Russ on him, to be honest. Yeah. 37 points, 11 rebounds, 1 assist, 3 turnovers, 13 of 17 field goals. And obviously these are all in limited minutes as well. So it was just a really impressive, like every opponent, like even Musa Diabate in the first Charlotte game, like every opponent was like, okay, like Giannis's job was in a way easy because either he was going to take his man one-on-one and score, or they were going to send an immediate double team, and he just had to make the right play. And I want to give him all the credit in the world for that. Like he's a superhuman athlete, and it's not his fault that he's like 7 foot tall and however much he weighs, but just like he still has to go out and do the dominant part. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But then we had the one game where I thought he didn't play as well, and that was against the Wizards. The stat line looks like the other ones: 33 points, 15 rebounds, 3 assists, but 6 turnovers and 12 of 21 field goals is not as good as the other ones. And things were much harder for him in that game. And when I talk about puzzle solving, the puzzle was quite simple in the other 3 games, in the fact that, all right, take my opponent one-on-one, and I'm either going to score or they're going to send a double from this spot and I have to throw it to this spot and we will score. And I thought the process was easier, but in that game, he ran into apparently his new nemesis, Bilal Koulibaly, who is just like apparently he's now one of the best Giannis defenders in the league. Like that guy is actually a dog. I'm impressed with him. And then they had the secondary defenders like Justin Champagny and Alex Sarr, who I thought did a really good job. And then even like ironically enough, Chris Middleton is like apparently like a really good Giannis defender as well. And you think about it, like he's got the size, he knows Giannis's game inside out, and he's got elite hands down low. And so, yeah, the Wizards just like ironically enough present like a good amount of problems for Giannis. And I thought in that game, especially in the second half, he got too focused on scoring through the matchup, through Koulibaly. And I thought that he should have tried to manipulate the matchup by screening. But because if he screens his defender, if he sets a good screen, they're either going to, if they stay with him, if both defenders stay with him, his teammate's going to get a layup. Or if they switch, hey, you got a new matchup. And I think he should have lent into that a lot more than he did. And I think during the end, he got tired trying to go through Bilal Koulibaly, and then some of the decision making, including the off-ball defense, was not as good. So, yeah, 3 hits, 1 miss this week. But I don't know. Did you have any thoughts on Giannis's week in general, and how you viewed the Washington game as opposed to the other games? Because I thought his process was bad. Was pretty not the greatest in the Washington game on both ends of the floor.
Yeah, I will. I'll agree with that sentiment, especially with the Washington game, and obviously, especially being there. I was just going through. It was like midway through the third quarter, and he didn't even have an assist yet. That was like stood out to me, and I even, if I can grab my notebook here really quick, I even wrote down the last time he didn't even have an assist in a game. It's been a long time.
Did he not have an assist in that game? I need to check.
He had 2. He finished with 2.
Oh, okay, right, yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, January 6th of 2023 was the last time Giannis did not get an assist in a game. At least, like he still got an assist against the Pistons back in that December where he played like 5 minutes. But yeah, he did not get. Yeah, it's been 3 years at this point since Giannis didn't get an assist in a game. So yeah, I think, and I guess again, it's hard to get assists when your other starters are Miles Turner going 4 for 10, AJ Gree going 3 for 8, and a lot of those threes came later in the game. Ryan Rollins went 5 for 13. Bobby Portis went 4 for 11. The only one who sniffed 50% was KPJ, who had 19, but he still had 3 turnovers on top of it. So,
yeah, what did we shot? 16 of 39 from 3 and like 41%. So that's not too bad, I guess.
Yeah, the 3-point percentage looks great. It's just, yeah. I mean, if you remove Giannis and KPJ just like regularly shooting the ball, it's a bad look. I mean, they went 13 or 21 of 38. So that's 20 of whatever math you want to do, the rest of the team shot. Gary Trent had a horrible game. That was a really bad Gary Trent game. But getting back to the Giannis portion of it, I agree, because he just seemed frustrated at times. And I initially didn't pick up on it, but there were several times thinking back on that game that he just kind of tried to force things. And he even talked about it afterwards, like that maybe the offense should still go through him, but not always in areas like just try for him to try and score the ball. Like there should be times. Just quick question: did you ever watch Ted Lasso?
Yes.
Okay,
I
kind of
watched
like
I watched like the first season. I think I don't think I've watched the other ones, but yeah.
okay. I'll try and give this example without completely spoiling it. It's in the later seasons they try a new tactic, with Jamie Tart, and he says you got to stop playing to me and start playing through me. Where he's just kind of like the distributor of those things. Yes, I know that was a great Jamie Tart impression. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking of. Maybe not to that extreme, but
yeah,
that he has to start playing more of the point Giannis, where there are plays set up for him to distribute the ball offensively rather than just go score. And then defensively, I don't remember much from him defensively. The only thing I remember really defensively was them just, I felt like they were beat off the spot a lot. Just by the Wizards' speed a lot of the time, even like just in the half court, not even in the full court. So, but yeah, there are just times where I feel like Giannis, and this is the second time I feel like Giannis has like just stopped caring on defense against the Wizards because he gets frustrated.
There was one possession I remember. This is just off the top of my head, but there was one possession where like it was a really important possession late in the game, and he was guarding. I'm not sure how he ended up on Trey Johnson, but he was guarding Trey Johnson, and I think it might have been McCollum like drives into the paint, and Giannis is like in just no man's land. Like he's not doubling McCollum, and he's not on Trey Johnson. He's just kind of like watching, and Johnson nails this three. I think it might have been to like put him up back four again or something like that. But yeah, and the only reason that the main reason that I bring this up, and this is something that I think I wrote about this last year, is that there are a lot of matchups in the league where Giannis's natural talent and brute strength is just going to be, it's like, I mean, this is the whole Giannis era. There are a lot of teams that have no one to match up with him, and he's going to dominate those teams. And we saw that 3 out of 4 times tonight, this week. And generally those teams, I mean, all of these teams that we played are at the bottom of the standings. And so my thing has always been, is this the correct process to beat the better teams? Because coming up, I mean, you would say coming up, like we have better teams, but like I think we played Denver coming up like a few times, but they're like decimated by injury, so I'm not sure it counts. But generally, when you play better teams, they're gonna have guys who can guard him straight up better, and they're not just like conceding a double team. And I think it's important that he has a different way to play, or like recognizes, okay, like I'm not scoring on Koulibaly, like he's blocked my shot X number of times now. How do I attack a different matchup? How do I solve this puzzle and try and gain advantages in an easier way? So it's not about just the matchup, but it's freaking tiring to like be pushing and pushing and pushing these guys over and over and over again. Whereas like if he just attacks CJ McCollum, go and screen him and make them switch, or you're just going to get an open look for your teammate. And I feel like against the better teams, this type of thing is going to be less effective. And it's still going to be effective to a degree because it's Giannis and he's one of the most dominant players in the league. Take nothing away from him. But yeah, that, like I was on social media and that was kind of like the common refrain is like, oh man, this was like a tough Giannis game. So yeah, that's kind of all I had. I've got some random comments about just some of the other games, like Russ in that game against the Kings. I was worried Russ was going to like knock Giannis out at one point there. So, but we can talk about that if you want. But that's really all I had. Yeah.
Yeah, I think and then I was trying to look for that possession you were talking about where Trey Johnson hit a 3 in the second
Right.
half, right? Yeah, that didn't happen. I looked for Trey Johnson in the play-by-play on ESPN.
Okay, well,
He did not
maybe
hit
it
a
was
3 in the
someone.
second half. So I was just like, wait, what? But
Well,
no,
maybe I'll try and find it. Maybe it was someone else. Let me see.
yeah, it might have
But
been
yeah,
Bub Carrington at some point because he was
yeah,
going crazy from 3 in that fourth quarter. But yeah, no, I think it's just going to be echoing the same sentiment where just like, I guess what for a lot of people, part of the reason I assume they put like a guy like Jokic over Giannis in terms of like who's the best player in the world, even though Giannis by reputation is a much better defender,
yeah,
is the simple fact that Jokic, yes, he can score and he can take advantage of mismatches, which basically almost every big in the league is a mismatch for him. But it's also his ability to like attack different matchups in different ways and be like, okay, if I'm going up against, let's say, Rudy Gobert, which he's had his struggles against Rudy Gobert, it's like, okay, let me screen so that way I can get Ants Man on me. Or he's such a good passer that he can just kind of like attack that in a different way. If he gets the ball, he can spray it to somebody else to shoot. So yeah,
and it's the screening too. Go watch Jokic. Go watch how much better he is at setting screens than Giannis is, and he does it. He does it better, and he does it at a much higher rate. And I think that's like I've always said this in my dreams. I imagine Giannis being like a manipulative screener and how much it would revolutionize his game. And he's never quite reached that. And I want to see it one of these days because like the thing about screening is like it's not always going to result in you getting a basket, but it often results in your team getting a basket. And for whatever reason, he just has never been a good screener. And I want to see it one of these days. Yeah.
Yeah. It's part of the reason why, like, I would assume like guys like Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday love playing with Brook Lopez because he is such a good screener. Because obviously before he really started shooting threes, it was a lot of pick and rolls, and he's got such a big frame that helps. But we see with Giannis, he's got a big frame, and he's not necessarily the best screener in the world. And I'm just thinking like, I can't count a lot of times where Giannis literally just like comes up to set a screen like in a traditional pick and roll. I think they only usually save that for like an end of game situation. But like most of the time, if he sets a screen, it's just because of a dribble handoff. Like someone's coming around to get the ball from him to do something. It's not. And again, I don't like. He doesn't need to play it. I guess he does need to play it sometimes like a traditional big and just set a good screen to manipulate the defense. So maybe he learns that. Maybe he gets some work in with that during All-Star break and everything. But short term, well, that's something I agree. I like to see a lot.
What did you learn?
That the Bucks needed this stretch of opponents in the worst way possible. Like, yes, they still kind of quote unquote messed up with this stretch of games. If you want to go all the way back to starting with that game against Indiana when the easier stretch of the schedule started, losing to Memphis and losing to Washington. Obviously, you don't want to do that. But, I mean, they've won 5 out of their last 7. They're 16-20. They're only 4 games under 500, which is a lot better than when they started this road trip at 11-18 after losing to Minnesota. So yeah, like and just even I know there's a lot of basketball left, tons of basketball left. But even just looking at the standings, they're tied with the Hawks for the 10 seed. And the Bulls,
is that in the loss column, or are they
the Bucks have one less win, but also one less loss. The Hawks are 17-21. The Bucks are 16-20.
I feel like the Hawks. Everyone believes in the Hawks every year. This is the year of the Hawks, and then it never works. Like they're like everyone's white whale. Like this year is going to be the year of the Hawks, and then it just never is.
No, and I mean that's crazy enough. It's because Trae Young came back. Like just looking at it, they lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They lost 7 games in a row after he came back.
Trae Young, future Milwaukee Buck. Please no.
Hail no. Hail no. But
I don't
anyway.
understand Bucks fans who want Trae Young. I don't know. I mean, if it's like free, then I don't know. But
yeah, it's literally it's the Bobby Coos and minimum guy insert here. But no. Just getting back to the standings for a second. Like they're a game back of the Bulls, who after that horrible stretch, I think they're 6-4 in their last 10. And before they played the Hornets and the Magic, they had like won 7 out of their last 9. So like the teams they're trying to catch at this point in the year are starting to put some good stretches together. And even they're still 3.5 back of Miami and Orlando at this point. And then they're 4 games back of the Cavs to even be back in the playoffs. So, and Philly as well. So they're the 5 seed is within striking distance. They just have to continue to stack wins. Obviously, the next 2 games are going to be somewhat difficult. The Lakers are such a weird team. Just looking ahead at that for a second. The Lakers are.
Let me see.
They're
playing the Pelicans. I think they won.
Yep. Yeah. Oh yeah. I think the Pelicans were leading heading into the fourth quarter, and then oh my God, Trey Murphy had 42.
Yeah, I was watching the game before we hopped on. I tell you what, the Pelicans, they're in a lot of games. It's actually really crazy. They just can't finish them off.
Yeah. Oh, Wizards got another win tonight. They beat the Magic.
The Wizards are like the best team in the league suddenly.
Well, just thank the Milwaukee Bucks for that. But anyway, yeah, I just think they needed, and even with the schedule getting a little tougher, I mean, they have, and then they have Denver with no Jokic. They have the Timberwolves again. The Spurs, I don't think Wemby's going to be playing in that game. Did he already come back? If I'm having
I wouldn't imagine so.
So that's a bit of a break. They play the Hawks, who maybe Trae Young's still there, maybe he's not. So they need to wrap up this West Coast trip very well and get those 2 quick road wins, because then you get OKC in the middle on January 21st.
OKC suck now apparently, so should be a win.
I mean, yeah. Who did they? Oh, they just got smacked by the Hornets.
Yeah.
So maybe that's a much easier. No, that's going to be a tough game. That's going to be a tough game regardless. But yeah, they needed to take advantage of this. Obviously, it was nice to have a couple more wins, 18-18 instead of 16-20. But yeah, I think that's the biggest thing that I learned, and maybe that there's going to be something about and I think Ryan Rollins he had that kind of cooling off period when KPJ came back, but I think he has fully reinserted himself back into the most improved player, top 3 consideration again. I think there was a couple of weeks where he kind of fell down the ladder a little bit, but he's doing a great job. He's back. He's back to being himself. Thank you, Doc Rivers, for actually starting him and playing your best players a lot. Who would have thought?
Yeah, By the way, I found the play. It happens in the second quarter, not the fourth.
Oh, okay.
I got my thing. Yeah.
No
Anyway, what was I going to say? Oh yeah. Also on Ryan Rollins, I'm kind of like, he is like the textbook example of like who the most improved player is meant to go to. Like, people are talking about like former first round picks, like going into their like third year, and there's like some huge leap, and it's like, no, that's like not really the spirit of the award. Like, it's meant for like a journeyman who finds their feet somewhere and then explodes. Like, that's what it's meant for. Like all credit to Keontae George, but I'm just like, this guy was like pick 18 or 19 or whatever he was. Like, and he got handed the key. Like, he's playing amazing, but I'm just like, is this not like somewhat expected of a player like that? And then I don't know who the other candidates are, but
so according to Oddshark, the favorite to win most improved is Denny Avdia.
Oh yeah. Well, that's another worthy candidate, Denny Avdia, yeah.
And then Jalen Johnson, Jalen Duren, Keontae George, Josh Giddey, and then it's Rollins.
None of those guys deserve, like, that's not, I'm not down with any of those guys getting it. Like, I get Avdia because, like, again, like,
but he was a first round pick. He was a lottery pick.
True, but his team traded him away because they didn't believe in him. You know what I mean? So it's
true.
I don't know. There's not some like criteria for it, but it's just like Jalen Duren. Like, I don't know. Like, is that not half expected? And I don't know who are the other guys who rattled it off, but yeah,
Jalen Johnson.
Yeah, Jalen Johnson. Like, what? No, absolutely not. He's
and then Keontae and Josh Giddey. Like, all these guys are like lottery picks or first round picks. And I will say though, I think I saw, and I think you saw it too, Tyrese Maxey, I think, said this year, like, Ryan Rollins should win most improved, or he said something to that effect. That, yeah. So it's like, hey, the guy who won most improved is saying, hey, this guy should win most improved. I think that should be in some part of the consideration.
As far as the this stretch of opponents goes, it's really funny. Like, I don't know. It feels like they get up big or they get down big against like these teams, and you just know it's going to be like a 5-point game with 3 minutes to go in every single one of these games, which doesn't spill the most confidence because it's like, if they are who they say they are, they should be like whacking these teams. But look, I get it. The NBA is a talented league. Like, Charlotte just whacked OKC. Like, it's not like a binary, like, if you play a team below you, you should smack them or whatever. But it just is funny. Like, I watch the games and I'm like, Bucks are up 14, and I can guarantee you I'm going to be like, this is going to be a close one in the fourth quarter, because it always freaking is. Like, even that Chicago game, I think they were up double digits, and then it got a little bit hairy there. And also, I want to make mention of something, right? I know we was just speaking about Ryan Rollins, but that guy, what was his stats against I don't know if you could pull up his stats against the Hornets, but I think he missed like one shot the entire game, and he was like 6 or 7
the one on Friday or the one on Monday?
Monday, I'm gonna say, yeah, the one at home.
No, that was Friday. Yeah, he went 11. He had 29 points, 11 of 13, 6 of 7 from 3, 8 assists, 3 steals.
Yeah, like they were
3 rebounds.
Like, he saved their ass in that game. There was a hilarious play in that game where like they started PJ Hall, like I said, but they were ending with Sion James guarding Giannis, and it just like there was one play where like Sion James was like fronting Giannis. It was the most hilarious play. It was like a dad playing in the backyard with his like small infant children, and so he's fronting him, and they get it to like the corner where they can finally get it into Giannis. Rollins zips it in there, and like 3 guys swarm to Giannis, and Giannis just like does this like he didn't like hook, but I don't know, he like put his shoulder down, and Sion James goes like flying into the stanchion, and Giannis like lays it in and one. and it was just the most like unserious defensive. Like, there's nothing they could do because they had no healthy centers. But I would have just kept PJ Hall in because like that was never gonna work. Hilarious.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And I didn't even realize. Quick shout out to Kyle Kuzma and Bobby Portis in that game, combining for 38 points off the bench. So good for them.
Yes. Oh yeah, and that's another thing I want to mention. It feels like Bobby Portis in these games is shooting like, again, like I don't have like Bobby Portis' stats. Like it feels like he's shooting like 1,000% for the past like two months or something. That guy is not missing. Which is another thing. He like doesn't really fill you with heaps of confidence because it's like they've got like these role players who are hitting every shot and they're like eking out games against like bad, quote unquote, bad opponents, like in like very close games. It's like, how sustainable is this? But I don't know.
Let's see. I'm getting you the stats right now. Bobby Portis, over the last 10 games, is averaging 16.3 points per game, shooting nearly 50% from the field, 47% from three, and 93% from the free throw line. Granted, 1.6 attempts from the free throw line, but yeah, he's the fourth. He's the fourth leading scorer on the Bucks in the last 10 games.
Yeah, that's insane. So anyway, how sustainable this all is, we're going to find out because they're going to start playing some real opponents. But like, yeesh. Anyway, good that they won though.
Yes, very very good that they won. Before we get to our predictions, we have 29 days until the NBA trade deadline, and I wanted to give a brief shout out to you because you officially started our trade candidate series. I believe it was today or yesterday. Am I right?
Today for you, yeah.
Yeah.
This morning in the US, yeah.
Yes. And you started off with Jerami Grant. So I just kind of wanted to, for those of you who haven't read it yet, you should read it. But if you still haven't read it yet for some reason, kind of just talk about like how you overall feel about like what if the Bucks got Jerami Grant for basically Kyle Kuzma and getting some second round picks from Portland.
Yeah, well, I said in the article like I probably wouldn't do it, but as far as like how much it would hurt like the downside is, I don't know. The downside is like not too bad, I don't think, but it's like it's a decently sized contract. So yeah, I think he could help them. I think like he's always been a guy that like you see him on the right night and you're like, oh man, like look at this 6'7" lanky dude who can like shoot and do some stuff off the dribble and like whatever. And then you kind of like each year you check his stats and it's like not, like it's just not the stats don't match what you just watched. And so yeah, I don't love him as a Bucks guy. There are the other guys that the Brew like the team is gonna go throughout the coming weeks. Like I'd probably prefer if they went in a different direction, but he's not. You can see him fitting into like certain roles with the Bucks for sure.
Yeah, and jokingly, he'd fit right in because he, like you said, the article, he's like allergic to rebounding. He's averaging under 4 a game.
I could not believe that when I saw it. I'm like, you average how many? You're that big and you average like you get no boards whatsoever. Like what?
Yeah. For that alone, and the fact that the Bucks, even though he's not playing, have Taurean Prince on the roster, I just don't think that's a good mix to have like the guy with the most iconic rebounding quote in modern basketball history with the guy who cannot rebound.
That's hilarious.
Well for his size. I just don't think it's a good fit. I don't think we can't upset Taurean Prince at this stage of the season. He's too valuable.
We've got to keep Taurean Prince around. We know this. Torian Prince is a priority for the Bucks. You gotta have
Yeah,
TP around.
we can't have him upset and like hurt his neck again or something. We can't have that.
And you
yeah.
got Zach LaVine. Sorry, you got anything to say about? Yep, sorry.
You're good. No, I was just gonna say about Jerami Grant, like, and I agree with what you wrote in the article that basically it's like a minuscule upgrade over Kyle Kuzma, and it creates the same situation that you had when you initially traded for Kuzma, trying to shoehorn him in to the 3 when he is obviously a 4. And at that point, I would just rather keep Kuzma, even if you are getting some second round picks out of it. Because I'd rather at that point, like if that's the only option, I'd much rather just like trade Kuzma when he's an expiring and like maybe get some picks out of him and open up some cap space.
Yeah, I feel like Portland would do this deal in like a heartbeat, which doesn't.
Oh yeah,
Portland would jump at this. I feel like, which is almost a sign to not do
it. Yeah, and I mean, in your deal, you have them sending Kuzma and Bobby to Portland. I think Van said in our chat that I think they don't have to even send Bobby in that trade. So whether Bobby's
full disclosure, you and Van are like the ultimate cap guys on our team. I feel like I'm just like this seems like the money makes sense. Let's just do that. But yeah, that was very helpful because I actually did not know that.
Yeah, no, I just like Van is like the cap like master, and I have like slowly become like his cap apprentice. Like during the off season when I had that like mock off season where I had like the Bucks getting like Lonzo and Kristaps Porzingis in a 3-team trade. Like I made my own like spreadsheet for the cap space for the Bucks, and I've continued to update it at this point, kind of following fans' template. So it's oh my god, when these new apron, just quick tangent, when these new apron rules came in, and like it made trades like a living hell. There was, I think it was last year before like the Middleton trade. We were trying to rack our brains, like trying to figure out, and like the trade machines hadn't been properly updated with how to handle the apron rules at that point, or they weren't taking everything correctly into consideration. So I remember we spent like hours trying to figure out like I think it had some trade to do with Bobby Portis, because I swear every 5 minutes I'm trying to trade Bobby Portis. Yeah, it was something to that degree where like we were trying to make the money like work out as best as possible. At that time, in that 3-teamer in the offseason, I had the Bucks trading Kevin Porter Jr. to the Celtics, which now would be like hell on earth to have Kevin Porter Jr. on the Celtics. But yeah, it's just become such a, you literally, I feel like have to get a math degree, and I don't have a math degree. So it's become so much harder to figure this kind of stuff out. But yeah, I was just going to, because I was saying about like,
there have been other people that have said this, but like the it's not exactly healthy for, like, you introduce all these like rules and none of the fans understand how it works, and that can like foster a lack of interest like from the general fan about like, oh, well, I want to trade for this guy. Oh, but you forgot about the second apron subsection 5C4D that says that you can't trade a player from the state of California on a Wednesday night. Like, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, if you're over the second apron, you can't aggregate players in a trade. And yeah, you can't get under the second apron if you do this, because then you're hard capped, or you're hard capped at the first apron. You can't go over, and you lose draft picks that you're able to trade if you're over the second apron, and da, 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 da. And I've seen like I remember responding to people to Twitter last year. I remember just looking back and like talking with people last year, like, oh yeah, the Bucks should do this trade. Like, no, they can't. There's this financial thing that is like they can't do it. So yeah. But to get to what you were about to say earlier, I do have Zach LaVine coming later in the week. I believe we're trying to aim for Friday. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, just I'm not gonna obviously get into everything because I want y'all to read the article because I'm a petty what's the word? Petty plug. Petty plug. But I have been someone who has kind of been on the Bucks should get Zach LaVine even when they had Damian Lillard. I thought he would have been, especially if you're going to ship out Chris Middleton, I thought he was an awesome, like, younger, more athletic replacement. He's not as good as Chris ever was. I mean, Chris was a much better player, like, in their primes compared to Zach LaVine. But I thought like, oh yeah, a guy who can shoot threes, hit some mid ranges, take some pressure off on ball handling responsibilities at the time from Damian Giannis. And I was like, okay, they just get involved with the 3-team trade for Jimmy Butler, and Bradley Beal goes to Chicago and Jimmy Butler goes to Phoenix, and Bucks get Zach LaVine, all great. And then Bradley Beal had to ruin it by saying he wouldn't waive his no trade clause to go to Chicago. But overall, I think, and especially with the trade package I have, I think it's still a trade I would do even with LaVine trending a little bit down, especially with him being out the last few weeks with an injury.
Yeah. Sorry. I was dealing with you like blacked out for me for a second there. So sorry.
You're good.
Yeah. The LaVine thing is interesting. Would we be, did you, is there a first round? Oh, you probably don't want to reveal your trade, but, I'm
not going to reveal the whole.
I'm kind of like whatever if we didn't include a first round pick. If we do, then that changes some stuff. But yeah.
Okay. I will reveal this portion of it because I'm not going to say all the players. Although if you're another cap guy, you will know who has to be in this trade already. There are no picks going either way in the trade I have cooked up. There are no picks whatsoever.
So yeah, from that standpoint, then I'm like, fine sort of thing. Like I don't love it. I don't hate it, but yeah, he could absolutely help the team in some ways. I do, like I wonder like if a better fit would be just like if you could get like 2 Herb Jones type guys in there, like I'm just trying to make the distinction between do we want another scorer or do we need like defenders and rebounders and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, LaVine, it is true that this team lacks like primary playmaking a little bit. And so I do think he could definitely help in that department.
Yeah. And with some of the other moves I have in mind, some of which we talked about, I think there is a way to kind of get everything the Bucks are kind of looking for outside of like, obviously you're getting LaVine, but you're also getting some assurances in other departments of like making sure you get like a good rebounder out of it. And maybe you get like, you sign like a big wing out of free agency because the Bucks would open up a roster spot in this deal.
Right. Yeah.
So I just think there are a bunch of potential avenues for this to work. And just I'm just like in my brain, just imagining a lineup of Kevin Porter Jr., Ryan Rollins, LaVine, Giannis, and Miles Turner. Like that just makes my heart happy. Just thinking about something like that. just from the simple standpoint, I just think in that, especially, I think he's just a really good fit in this situation. I like the amount of offensive creation there, and the fact that LaVine is flanked by 3 good defensive players in Rollins, Giannis, and Turner, and then Kevin Porter Jr. is at least has the size and can at times be a pretty decent defender. So. Especially because I read Van sent me something from Sam Amick where it's like his defense has gotten a little bit worse than normal. His rebounding's gotten worse. His playmaking overall has like gotten worse. But the biggest thing he adds is like off-ball scoring on top of it. He's a great catch and shoot player, and he can create his own shot, which again. Trying to alleviate as much offensive pressure on Giannis is honestly outside of getting like a Herb Jones type, not necessarily him, because I think the Pelicans are probably going to hold on to him. It would be like my number one priority.
For sure. Agree.
All right. Well, enough speculating. Well, we're going to keep speculating, but just on a different topic. We are going to go ahead and roll into the predictions for the week. When you're listening to us on Wednesday morning, the Bucks are in Golden State to take on the Warriors. And then they'll be still on the West Coast on Friday. They'll take on the Lakers. And then on Sunday, they will be taking on the Denver Nuggets. Shout out. I mean, obviously this came out before shout out to the NFL real quick, because thank you for putting the Bears Packers on Saturday, not only for my sake, but for Bucks fans in the state of Wisconsin. So that way they don't have to look like, the SpongeBob meme where he's looking at 2 different books.
Yes.
And he's like, they don't have to watch the Bucks and the Packers at the same time on Sunday. Shout out to them for that. But Jack, what is your prediction for the Milwaukee Bucks this week, who only play 3 games this time?
Gosh, this is a tough one. They could win all 3 and they could lose all 3 very easily. Because like the Warriors are not playing great either, and nor are the Lakers, and they won't have Austin Reeves. And then obviously the Nuggets. Now, I think the last game against Philly, they were like, they effectively punted the game and then somehow won it. Do you know what I mean? Like, it feels like
Pickett, man. Jalen Pickett.
Yeah. Zeke Naji going band for band with Joel Embiid. What? So, yeah, but I guess what I'm trying to say is against the Nuggets, it feels like, I'm pretty sure Gordon's going to play and Christian Brown's going to play, and like a bunch of those guys that kind of, it felt like with all their injuries, they just rested a bunch of guys as well. And I don't think they're going to do that. Regardless, they could still win the game because there's no Jokic. I am going to say they win. I'm going to say they go 1-2, and I have no clue who the win comes against. But I just think they're going to win one of these games.
Yeah. I'm going to say 2-1. I'm guaranteeing a win against the Nuggets because I think obviously we say all the time that there's like very few teams who have a guy for Giannis, and I think the Nuggets are one of them. Even with a guy like Aaron Gordon, I think he's decent enough, but I think with all the other things they have going on, I think they're going to take that. And then I think they're going to beat the Warriors. They obviously, like you said, have not been good of late. They had a 3-game losing streak back in December against Minnesota, Portland, and Phoenix. They lost in overtime to Toronto. They scraped by Charlotte, got blown out by OKC, and then just lost to the Clippers. But honestly, hey, Warriors, thank you for helping save the NBA by giving the Clippers another win. Shout out to Jimmy Butler for missing that game-winning shot. So.
Yes, Clippers keep winning. Please, dear God, for everyone that is not an OKC fan, everyone should be rooting for the Clippers.
Yes, we need the Clippers in the playoffs. Hey, they're only 2.5 games back of the Grizzlies for the 10th seed in the West. So keep going, Clippers, keep going. But I think they're going to lose to the Lakers on Friday. I just think even with no Austin Reeves, it's still LeBron and Luka. And the last time these two teams played, yes, Reeves did play, but it was still belt to ass.
Yeah.
And that was because that was the back-to-back. They had played Charlotte in the NBA Cup, and then they played the Lakers on that Saturday. So yeah, it was belt to ass, and they could not defend the pick and roll to save their life with DeAndre Ayton and Jackson Hayes. So I just think the Lakers are gonna run basically the same game plan with that, and we'll go from there. But yeah, I say 2-1. I think they get the Warriors, and I think they get the Nuggets.
Cool.
Keeping the good vibes going. Keep the good vibes going. Now it's time for everyone's favorite non-basketball segment in all of Brew Hoop history. Apologies to all other non-basketball segments in Brew Hoop history. But this one is one of my favorites. It's time for me to horribly guess what's that Aussie slang.
I'm not going to lie. I have not prepared for this, so I'm going to make one up on the spot. Okay. Well, okay. I'll do one, and it's kind of like a cheat because it's like then you can apply the same concept to a lot of Australian words. But I will put this one out of the way because it has to go out of the way because Australians say it all the time, but it's kind of a cheat kind of word, and it's servo.
Servo?
So serve. So think of the word serve, and it's like you just add O on the end. So it's like
is it kind of like
you go to the servo?
You go to the servo? Oh god, this is not what I thought it was at all. I thought it was gonna be like, you get served. Oh,
that actually wouldn't be bad, to be honest.
That's where I thought you were leading me to.
What other clues can I give? Like you, a servo is a place where you get certain amenities, and then you go in there and you leave within like 5 minutes, and you pay for some stuff, and you might put some stuff in your vehicle, and then you. Yeah.
Oh my god! It's like basically a service station. It's a gas station.
Yep, service station. Yep. I don't know if do Americans say service station or is it just gas station? I don't know.
Most people, maybe this is just a Midwest thing. Most people say gas station, but I feel like if you ask people like between like the 1950s and 70s, I think a lot more people would say service station.
Yeah. And so the reason I said it's a cheat is because you can then apply this to like a whole range of words, none of which are really coming to mind. But like, for example, bottle shop, we call that a bottle-o. And what else? Zach Day is going to listen to this and he's going to just think of like 5 other examples, but none come to mind right now. But yeah, it's just like a cheat code. You just add O on the end of like everything, and then it's just Australian slang. So,
so would it be like what's another good example? So like if you have like a electric car charging station, would you just call it like a chargo?
Oh, I can't say that's a thing, but it could become a thing.
Oh, I'm an Australian trendsetter. Let's go.
In 20 years, Chargo, I'll be crediting Chargo to Jackson Gross. If that ever becomes a thing.
I expect my royalty payments. All right.
Let's get into your miscellaneous, Mr. Gross. Yes,
and I sent a picture of it yesterday in our chat because
it's teaser.
It's my first Ultimate Collector's edition build, UCS. And UCS is like typically like the more expensive ones, but this is actually one of the cheaper ones, which is really nice. So give me like 30 seconds. Since I have Bluetooth headphones, I can still hear you while I do this. All right. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. All righty.
God damn.
Here we go. So, put this.
That thing looks scary, bro.
So, this is the AT-ST, which is basically a smaller version of the AT-AT from Star Wars. For those who watch the movies, this is basically where basically a lot of this takes place in the Battle of Endor, or for anyone who's played Jedi Fallen Order, the video game, you know what level I'm talking about. You basically fight one of these as like a boss fight, and then later on you play like face multiple of them, which is just
does that have anything to do with R2D2?
No, not even close.
Because I just googled R2D2. I couldn't remember what character that was, and then so it's like this.
It's a droid.
What sort of
So this. Oh, I still have the box, so I can tell you how many pieces it is. So yeah, this was 1,513 pieces. It took me about 2 days to build, and I would say between those 2 days, it probably took me 8 hours total to build.
Wow.
And it honestly took me a little bit longer because I was almost done with it. I was very close to being done. And I did like basically like a Lego no-no, and I grabbed this thing by the head.
Oh no.
And as you'll see here in a second, it is not very secure. Like just holding it.
Yeah.
So it slipped off. The legs fell down. One of the legs completely popped off. Like you'll see the middle section here completely fell off.
Yeah.
And so I had to reattach it, do some quick repair work on it. But yeah, other than that,
do you go like delusional a bit when you're working on it for that long, or do you just power through?
I just kind of power through. Like I love building Legos. And then there's a little fun features. Obviously, you've been seeing I can rotate the head. Doesn't really walk, which I guess is a good thing. But then the head opens up a little bit. You can kind of see it there. I'm not going to tip it down because I'm not risking anything. And then I'm not going to take him out because it's hell to put him back in. But there's a AT-ST driver in the head, which is cool.
Oh wow.
And it comes with like a little display stand as well, but I'm not going to grab that because it's not as cool. But yeah, this is kind of like basically the set of Legos where it's like a full like display model. Like this is not like a kids play one necessarily. So I think it's somewhere between like $150 and $200 if I remember correctly. But for a UCS model, that's on the cheaper end because there's some of them, including the new Death Star, which get up to $1,000.
Oh my god! Wow.
Yeah, there's that one's $1,000. The Millennium Falcon's $850. The Star Destroyer I think was in that price range when it was an active set. The Republic Venator is like $650. So yeah, the Lego set be getting expensive, boy. But yeah, I'll just zoom out a little bit just to kind of get a full. It's bigger than my head, so is it
like weighty?
Yeah, it's got some heft to it. There's no doubt.
Because it looks like it's got some heft to it. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, this is really fun. Like it's about as big as the playset AT-AT that I have, which canonically in universe, the AT-AT is much bigger than this. So it's kind of funny to look at. But overall, I would say this was a really fun build. This is when they came out with it, and I didn't realize how cheap it was going to be relative. I I wanted it very much. And shout out to my grandparents for getting it for me. So I would give this, especially just how it looks, it's a beautiful display model. I'm going to give this a full 10 out of 10 Lego bricks for this build.
Is that the first 10 out of 10 you've given?
I think before I was doing it out of 5, and I think I gave a few 5 out of 5s, but I'm going to say this is my first 10 out of 10. That's how good it was.
Hell yeah.
So,
We'll
as
take it.
always, if you are on the YouTube side of the podcast, this was the time to head on over and see the most visual segments in Brew Hoop podcast history, I'm assuming. But yeah. So with all of that said, that's going to go ahead and do it for us on, again, episode 229 of Dear Diaries. Jack, any final messages for the people before we skedaddle out of here?
Oh, not really. I mean, if they can like win like 4 out of 6 of their next one, I think that's when we'll know they're really in business. If they, I feel like in this next week, like 2 out of 3 will be like a good result. So let's hope for that.
Yeah, 4 out of 6 would put them at 20-22. So well within contention to get back into the playoff picture for sure. So for our sakes, for the Bucks' sake, let's hope they do that with this coming week. But that's going to do it for us. Make sure to head on over to brewhoop.com to read all our latest articles. Like we said, we got a whole bunch of trade candidates coming out over the next month plus until the trade deadline. Obviously, we have game coverage, lots of road games coming up, but obviously some home games sprinkled in, which I will be in person for. I also brought back the video recap series. I did not do one for the Wizards game because it was a holiday. Don't get on my case. But those will be coming back. Those are usually I'm going to try and post in the mornings after the game on YouTube and other social media platforms. So keep an eye out for that. And with all that said, we will see you guys next week.